Hi, I'm Dennis, and I'm an alcoholic, addict, cross-addicted to everything. The first time I spoke was a year and a half ago, and I had prepared this fantastic speech. It was a good 40 minutes long, and I was told right before I spoke that it has to be a maximum of 20 minutes, and I bombed it. And the problem was I had a huge ego. And so now what I do is I come up and I ask God to say what he thinks I should say. And what I just sort of felt was concede to our innermost self and in good measure. That's what came to me. So it's only 10 minutes, so I'm going to spare you the gory details and rip through my horrific. Apparently I'm a hard case, according to my sponsor right here, Norm. My first meeting was 2012. My family doctor took me to it, and it was in a church it was a big one, full of a lot of people. And I might as well have been walking into Jonestown in my mind. It was a cult, and everybody was praying to God, and they all got sober by doing that. And I apparently had an alcohol problem when he was the one that prescribed me the opiate pills for a car accident I was in on duty because I was a cop. But he's bringing me to an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. Like, what is happening? That was my first meeting. So I went home. He gave me a book, an Alcoholics Anonymous book, and he said, Dennis, the start of your journey. And I'm like, you. Sorry. The pill addiction ended badly. It ended in rehab. I got out, and that was solved with Suboxone. But the alcohol then replaced that. And I was a functioning alcoholic after having left and lost my first wife and my 2 boys. I decided to drink more with my second wife, who I had 2 girls with, and had to go back to rehab. I've been there 7 times, by the way. Hard case. Went back to rehab, got diagnosed with PTSD, so I stayed and did a 3rd stint for PTSD and addiction. And in rehab, I figured out that the best thing to do was go home, leave my wife and kids, and get a studio flat in Smiths Falls and be on my own and just drink and figure shit out. And that didn't work. That was a bad idea. Lost my truck, lost my house, my kids, and we're coming up on about 2015 now. Now, here's the power of love. I met the love of my life. And I said to her, and I meant it, babe, you are better than any bottle of whiskey. And I was sober. I was sober for 2.5 years. But I was off work with such severe PTSD that I felt like the police force wasn't supporting me. So like this addiction does, I got into that zone of, I'll show you guys and I'll hurt me. Watch this. So I joined a outlaw motorcycle club. Me, a cop, joined a biker club. And I left the love of my life. I left my kids with her too. That's how awesome she is. Went off, gallivanted around, doing drugs, drinking alcohol, selling drugs, doing all sorts of stuff. And this was 2018. 2019, I came back. And I had my own condo at this point. I came back, and no one welcomed me back. And I'm like, I'm back. I left there. I left the club. Where is everybody? Like, what's wrong? I'm even sober, like that day. Hello? And there was nothing. I was alone. So again, I'll show you, I'll hurt me. So I proceeded to, and I didn't know you could do this, but I drank myself to death in June of 2019. I died, and the love of my life and my kids were all there. And that really woke me up until October. It happened in July. October, I took another drink and proceeded to gallivant around until 2021, where I woke up in jail, staring up at a ceiling, and now I had nothing left. No home, no love of my life, no kids, nothing. My parents bailed me out. I ended up in their basement. And I said to them, just like in the movie Leaving Las Vegas, you can never, ever ask me to stop drinking. And they said, okay. They were going to let me die down there. So my sober date's July 6, 2021. July 5th was my son's birthday. And I needed to get up the stairs to give him his golf clubs. And the crawl up those stairs was conceding finally, after that first meeting in 2012, to my innermost self, yeah, man, you're an alcoholic. You're an addict. I got up to the top of the stairs and I said to my dad, I'm done. And instead of saying, yeah, right, he said, oh yeah? Okay. Went to rehab. This time I meant it. I meant business. I went to rehab for alcohol. I went to rehab for PTSD. I came home. I was sober on my own again, dry drunking it. Not a good idea. If you want to know what it's like to fall in love and be a dry drunk, you go ask the love of my life what that's like. It's not good. So I wanted to try this 12-step thing. I had tried everything else. I had been sober 6 months on my own. Was pretty proud of myself. Look at me, right? I was at a red light. This was, got sober in July. This was in March. I was at a red light and I don't know what happened. Well, I do now, I guess, but I felt God and I experienced the word now. Now. I made a U-turn when I wasn't supposed to. I got home. I called my brother-in-law, who had always said that this guy Norm is waiting for you. He had been waiting for me for 3 years, and he knew about me. My brother-in-law said, oh, you're in that AA thing? I know someone that's real cop. He said, just leave him be. So Norm called me. We met. I had conceded to my innermost self, and I was ready. I was ready for this God thing, okay? We did the steps. We went through the book line by line, word by word. And something happened, man. I had a spiritual awakening and I became connected to something that was always inside me, that I always ignored. And no matter how many sledgehammers God whacked me over the head with, I wouldn't listen. Now I wanted to listen, because when I got to the top of those stairs, I knew I wanted to live. So the book says that everything will return in good measure. We worked through the steps. Step 1, 2, 3, okay. Step 4, 5 sucks. 6 is okay. 7 is tough. 7 is tough for me. 8, 9, and 10, man. Swallow your pride, lose the ego. 11, wake up, talk to him. Ask him what to do. Not what to do that helps you, but what he wants you to do today for others. Step 12, find someone that his hand is shaking as much as yours was, and take it, and always be there for him. And everything will return in great measure. That book was written by God, not Bill and Bob. I believe God guided their hand. And today, the love of my life is sitting right there. Her name's Elspeth in the yellow sweater. She's still here. My son lives with me. He lives with me today. My other son, Connor, we've never been closer. My 2 daughters, I'm waiting on God's time for them to reach out to me. And I have accepted and moved past the resentments I had at my ex for keeping them from me. And today I have God in my life every time I wake up, every time I go to bed. I still get disturbed, like on page 417, but I have God, my sponsor, and all of you guys. And it's amazing how I can feel so alive in any meeting I'm in. But 5 years ago, if I was in a meeting full of addicts, I was dying, right? But here I'm alive. And I'm happy about that today. Thanks.